Hey everyone, Ashley Mailloux, Mike Beer here, taking a look at one of the graded stakes races this Friday. Belmont at the Big A. They have a grade 3. Futurity is race number 6. We'll focus in on the feature. It's race number 8 on the 9 race program. It's the grade 2 Pilgrim for the 2-year-olds in the spotlight. $200,000 is the purse. And a mile and a 16th here with a field of 11. And again, we talked about it on the Thursday race of the day, Mike. They're kind of tough races with the 2-year-olds. And I think that translates here in the Pilgrim. I think it's fairly wide open.
Yeah, it is. Lightly raced, a bunch of lightly raced horses in here. Feels like a bunch of them have some real potential, some real talent. You'll probably see, even aside from the horse who winds up winning here, you might see more than one of these horses at the Breeders' Cup.
We will take a look at the Timeform US pace projection for this race. It'll be interesting to see how it does necessarily pan out. Doesn't say a fast pace, but a couple of horses could be involved. The 1 Ball of Fire from towards the inside of the starting gate, then the 7 Baytown Dreamer. It's been forwardly placed in 2 of those 3 turf efforts, and those are the 2 going longer distances. But it does look like the 8 Noble Dynasty maybe most involved. I don't know. I think he gets it off of it. I'm not really convinced either way.
Yeah, I agree with you. The pace, it's not easy to decipher. These horses are way too lightly raced. Noble Dynasty, just from watching his first 2 starts, he's not a speed horse. And I'd be surprised if they were sending to the front here, but we'll see what happens.
We will kick it off here with the number 1 Ball of Fire, who is a 5-length winner on debut. That was on Monmouth Park, going 5.5 furlongs at a maiden special weight event. This one for Joe Orsino. They're going to stretch him out in distance and try the turf. Throwing a lot at him for his second career start. What did you think of him here?
I think he's, super interesting at a really big price. We'll see if it winds up, maybe not being the right spot, because I do feel like this drew a really good field. So we'll see what happens. But I really liked his debut. He did not look like a sprinter to me. I feel like he just sort of won that race on talent alone, and it felt like there's way more to come for this horse. And oh, by the way, he's got plenty of turf and distance in his pedigree. This is a really interesting spot for this horse.
The 2 sent out by Ray Handel. It's Here's Johnny. We'll take a look at his most recent performance, which he's still a maiden, but they put him into that grade 3 event last time out at Saratoga. He's going to be second best behind who? Final Score, who's sort of been his nemesis in those 2 turf efforts. And I think he runs well. I just think in both of these starts, Mike, he's just faced a horse that's way better than him at this point.
Yeah, I like all of his races. This horse can run, and he's still a maiden on the way into this. We're only showing the stretch run here of the With Anticipation, but this was a super slow pace early that Final Score just got to dictate terms up there and then sprint home. And Here's Johnny just never had a real chance to catch him. I like this horse, actually. I bet him in both of his turf starts, and I think he ran fine both times without winning. I'm probably not going to bet him again, but I won't be surprised if he wins.
The 3 Teleport crossed the wire in second last time out, but was awarded the victory. And that was at a maiden special weight event at Saratoga, going a mile and a 16th. And I don't know, it's another race that you look at it, they went really slow early. And I don't necessarily want to say it was a bad performance, but it was a short field. I don't know. I can't take a short price on a horse like Teleport.
No way. He can certainly improve. I guess we could say that about it, but you're right. I mean, he got control of a really slow pace in there. And he was awarded the win, but he did not run the best race in there. He was second best. And he got the victory because he did get bumped late in that race. But Scope, who's also back in here, his stablemate, ran way better than he did.
And I think when we look at maiden special weight, sort of, winning on debut, I think the 4 is probably more appealing in this sense, in terms of had to roll from off of it. Yes, it was another compact field, this one of just 6 runners, but was dead last. Got a little bit of pace help, but it wasn't like they were going that quick early on, and still was able to drop there comfortably.
Like the stretch run that he put in that race. And he still kind of looked like a little bit green here. You'll see when they come to the top of the stretch, he's still last there. He's swinging to the outside, but he's going to come running down the center of the track. He never changes his lead, Ashley, but he's always reeling these horses in. He's still got some things to clean up, some things to figure out, but this horse can run. This was the opening of the first maiden special weight race on the turf on Travers Day, which usually draws a quality field of horses, and I think that one did too. He won the race really easily as the favorite.
And he just had a big stride on him. You could see the way he was covering ground in the last 5 or 6. It just looked truly easy for him. The number 5, Truman's Commander. This one from Mark Cassie. So debut doesn't go okay. They say, all right, we're going to be done sprinting. Stretch this one out, and was able to take them gate to wire. Another race, though, that you're not necessarily enamored by the fractions. They almost went 25 to the opening quarter, 50 and 3 to the half, and then 114 and 3. But at least, when you see this performance, at least he started to draw away from the field. It wasn't like they were catching him or anything like that.
Yeah, he did. He won it convincingly, even though he was kind of a big price in there. He had a really easy trip on a slow pace against New York breds, and New York breds that just might not be that good, Ashley. I can't see him beating this field, but we'll see what happens.
We talked about Teleport. The 6 scope actually crossed the wire in front of Teleport, but was disqualified and placed second. I think, I don't know, a little bit more to like in terms of the early portion of this race where the pace was slow and Scope was at least not on the lead and was trying to make up ground, and obviously traded some bumps in the stretch.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think you'd watch the replay back and say he had, a tough trip, but he just sort of sitting on the rail behind Teleport making the lead. But it was a slow pace and he had to run that horse down. And I thought he ran him down really easily. He did brush him as he was going past. Then he sort of leaned in again late. That's probably what caused them to make the disqualification, because he leaned in coming right to the wire there and gave him a harder bump. But come on, man, this horse was way the best in there. And that's, if you bet this horse in there, that's a really tough disqualification to take, because this horse, he was much the best in that race, and it didn't affect the outcome at all. This horse is pretty dangerous in the race. I think he's pretty good.
The 7 Baytown Dreamer was able to graduate in the 4th career start, first time on the turf at Ellis Park. Then they took a shot in the Soaring Free on the EP Taylor, going 6.5, where we've seen Argos, the 3rd place finisher, come back to win pretty impressively. And then they finally stretched Baytown Dreamer out again last time out. And I know this horse is the pace setter, but went really quick early on, 3rd best at a big price in $1 million race. Maybe a piece in here. I know that's a tough sell, but at least this horse is tried in those 2-mile races.
Yeah, he's a tough call, because you're right. I mean, his last 2 races, especially the last one, it's not a terrible performance. I don't know if it makes him good enough in here, but he could show speed in this race. I thought the only win is the one that kind of just sort of makes him harder to get behind. He was the only horse in there. It was an 8-horse field. The other 7 were first-time starters. He had 3 starts already under his belt. He got loose on the lead. He won.
The 8 Noble Dynasty. This is a son of Kingman who was able to win the most recent effort and did it pretty nicely in terms of the fact that he had to kind of hold off a late challenge in there. I think this horse has done nothing wrong in those 2 starts. I'm curious to see if he can get a little bit more pace to develop in front of him. Can he kick on a little bit more? But in some ways, I think he's a major player for the top spot. Yeah,
I do too. I like everything about this horse. And look, his debut was good. He was only 2nd best in his debut, but he ran well in that race behind Teddy's Rocket, who's another sort of highly regarded horse for Clement. And then last time he only won by a nose. But the horse that was gated on him late, that horse just got a perfect trip stand up. This horse actually had to race. The other horse, who was really taking money in there, really brought a challenge to Noble Dynasty from the top of the stretch. He had to duel that horse, put him away, then hold off the closers. That was a legit maiden win last time.
And you mentioned Teddy's Rocket. We've only seen him one other time. He was 4th in the Grade 1 Summer up at Woodbine. The number 9 Capital Partner up next was able to win on debut. More recently, though, failed as the favorite, 3rd best in that Grade 3 event where we saw Here's Johnny was 2nd best. And we know the final score was able to draw clear in there and dominate things. How do you assess Capital Partner? Just an okay performance, expected more?
Yeah, kind of. I mean, unless you want to tell me that you had to be sort of saving ground in that race, because obviously the final score and Here's Johnny just both rode the rail the entire way and ran 1-2, and this horse was always on the outside. I guess, but I still feel like this horse didn't have much of an excuse. He sat right up close to final score on a slow pace. He really could never reach him to challenge in the stretch, and then he got out finished for 2nd and just held on for 3rd. I don't know. I just thought he was disappointing last time. I thought his debut was fine. I expected him to run better last time, and he didn't.
The 10 Repentless here for NBS stable Kelsey Danner. They scored a big upset. Vividly remember this looking at the results at Kentucky Downs. You saw a big price, 25-1, and actually thought this horse ran really well. I know it was going 7/8, but Mike, it's not like this horse was, 7-8 off of it and then got the pace help. Was still somewhat close to a very quick pace.
I agree. I think overall he got a good trip in there, but he also really ran and he won the race, pretty convincingly. This is a really underrated trainer. And so when she ships horses into New York in particular to run them in stakes races, I always take a second look because she really knows what she's doing. And this horse ran well first time out.
And it's not like, I know compared to other horses, it wasn't an expensive purchase. He was still pretty expensive at $275,000. We'll round it out here with the number 11, Let's Be Frank. This one in the barn of Mike Maker was 3rd on debut. And I thought, was going through some of the learning moves and curves in that race. And now is going to get blinkers on. I think the equipment change and maybe the additional distance is what he needs.
Yeah, those things are probably all true. I mean, this horse to me is definitely one to watch. Very interesting horse going forward. I don't know if this is the right spot for him for a second career start, especially drawing post 11. So we'll see if they actually run him here. His debut was very promising, though.
That's the field of 11 for the Grade 2 Pilgrim. Race number 8 this Friday. We'll take a look at our top selections. I thought it was an interesting race, and we go in pretty different directions here in terms of the top 2. You're going to use the 4 in here, who was able to win quite nicely on debut and did a lot of things right in that race at Saratoga.
That's what I thought. I mean, I do feel like this is a kind of race where I want to wait and see what the final odds are, because I don't know that I'd take a too short a price on anybody. But Bottas, I thought he ran really well first time, and I'll take him on top.
And I'll go with the 8 Noble Dynasty. I think has done nothing wrong in those 2 starts. I think could take a big step forward here for Belmont and Junior Alvarado. So 4-6-1-2 for Mike, 8-9-4-2 for me. It's the Grade 2 Pilgrim. Good luck.